Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching an ABC 10 Plus recap of the day's top stories you may have missed. Former MLB pitcher Daniel Serafini was found guilty of first-degree murder. Then we're learning more about the Republic Service's trash strike and how it's impacting communities it serves. The ABC 10 Plus recap starts right now. Late this afternoon, jurors returned a verdict against the former Major League Baseball pitcher accused of a deadly attack on his in-laws.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Daniel Joseph Serafini, guilty of a violation of California Penal Code Section 187A, murder, a felony as charged in count 1.
Today, Daniel Serafini was found guilty of murder in the attack that killed his father-in-law, Gary Spoor. Serafini was also found guilty of other charges, including burglary and the attempted murder of Spoor's wife, Wendy Wood. He'll be held without bail until his sentencing, August 18th. ABC 10's Luke Clary was in court this afternoon as the verdict was handed down.
Yeah, he joins us live with reaction from the courthouse. And Luke, an emotional time for the family.
Well, yes, indeed, Chris. Laura, it was an emotional ending to a 6-week-long trial and a 4-year-long ordeal for a family that has been torn apart by this brutal crime. And I can tell you, as Dan Serafini was found guilty and as the judge read out the jury's verdict aloud, we saw him look up to the ceiling, shaking his head in disbelief, looking over to his left shoulder to his wife, Erin Spoor, who testified in his defense during the trial. But other members of the Spoor family cried out. They shed tears of joy and relief. They said that this was justice served. Adrienne Spoor is Erin Spoor's sister and the daughter of the victims too. And after hearing from her here, you'll also hear from one of the jurors who explained the deciding factor in this verdict.
It's been 4 years since my mom and dad were shot, and it's been 4 years of just hell. And the Placer County District Attorney's Office and Sheriff's Office never gave up. And today, finally, justice was served.
For us, it came down to if it wasn't Mr. Serafini, who else could it have been? And then for us, it was, would it be better if we had him, the person we think it is, go away, or letting him go and the chance of anything like this happening again?
Now, the jury came to their verdict after 2.5 days of deliberations here at the Placer County Courthouse. They told us that they watched the video evidence frame by frame to make sure of their judgment. As for Serafini, he will remain in custody without bail pending sentencing, which is now set for August 18th. Reporting live in Auburn, Luke Clary, ABC 10.
Yeah, Luke, lots to track in the days ahead. We will continue to follow this closely and have more details on Late News Tonight at 11. Luke, thank you for that update.
Well, it's a scene that we are starting to see across Northern California. Look at this trash piling up in cities as a strike goes on for a second week. Today, Republic Services and the union that represents some of its workers in Stockton were back at the negotiating table.
ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has the update tonight.
In overflowing bins and on sun-baked blacktop, Stockton's trash is piling up.
What day was your guys' normal trash day?
Thursday.
And now, 5 days later,
just waiting on trash to be picked up and sitting here dealing with family, and all the holidays just came and gone. Still waiting for garbage to be picked up.
What started as a missed collection has grown into mountains of trash. Across Stockton, customers like Hardy Thompson are adding extra bags beside their bins. Republic Services on a 5-day backlog across Stockton. For now, no recycling and no organics being picked up, just those black garbage bins days late.
You pay your bills on time, you figure that that type of service will be already been dealt with already, but unfortunately not.
Here in South Stockton, it's this days-long strike that is really at the center of those trash pickup delays, but scenes like this one have been spreading to other parts of Northern California, impacting other communities as well.
Our landfill right now is in an open contract, so I know we are actually negotiating, so we had all the other local unions standing in solidarity with us.
Sympathy strikes causing this scene in Fairfield. The city opened garbage drop-off sites, dumpsters overflowing in just minutes. In Lathrop and the Bay Area, trash delays too.
Today, I know we're at the tables today, so I'm hoping that we can get something good. We're going to be out here until we get what we want.
In the meantime, Republic says it is bringing in workers from other areas and optimizing route efficiencies. But until a deal is done, Northern California's garbage continues to sit, stink, and wait.
Hopefully they do pick up pretty soon today. I'm just sitting here waiting, that's all. That's all I can do.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
Gabriel, thank you. We are working to gather information on how today's round of negotiations went. Meanwhile, Stockton's mayor and interim city manager say they've been in conversation with Republic Services ever since learning about the delays.
And we start tonight with new details in the Esparto fireworks explosion. It's been nearly 2 weeks since a warehouse full of fireworks exploded in Yolo County, which launched a major investigation. 7 people were killed. You see them right here. We know that some were fathers. Others were just getting their life started. They lived in the Bay Area, Sacramento, Stockton, and San Andreas. And tonight, as ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen reports, there is new legislation in the works to address a loophole found during this investigation.
Alex, Senator Christopher Cabaldon tells me he is looking to introduce legislation this session to address the state laws regarding licensing and enforcing laws for storing explosives. He tells me what happened in Esparto should never happen again, and he's hoping legal changes can address that.
That's our task in the Capitol and elsewhere to make sure that we tighten up these systems so that this sort of tragedy does not visit another community.
After 7 people lost their lives in an explosion at a fireworks facility in Esparto, Yolo County Senator Christopher Cabaldon says there needs to be changes at the legislative level.
We're considering and researching a set of legislative proposals to tighten up what the state's both regulatory and licensure role, and then to make sure that the locals have the tools, because as you know, we've been dealing both with some of the issues around licensing, but also the failure to abide by land use restrictions and other things that could have prevented this.
The fireworks facility in Esparto was linked to 2 companies, Black Star Fireworks and Devastating Pyrotechnics. Craig Cutright is the owner of Black Star Fireworks and was an Esparto volunteer firefighter, currently on leave of absence. Devastating Pyrotechnics is licensed to a man named Kenneth Chi, who has a prior felony conviction. While he was unable to get a federal license, he was able to get multiple fireworks licenses through the state of California. Senator Cabaldon says he's looking to address that and if they're in violation of zoning laws.
If they're blatantly violating the zoning laws, right? So there's more here than just the lack of federal-state harmony. There's also blatant disregard and violation for the law, and we have to assure that we're able to detect it and then to enforce against it.
Documents show Cutright applied for multiple permits to hold fireworks shows and included liability insurance ranging from $1 million to $5 million in coverage. Emails also show Cutright would use various email addresses from his personal account, Devastating to Black Star, and even his Esparto Fire account. Cabaldon says the details of his legislation will depend on the ongoing investigation into the fire and the people involved. During a press conference on Monday, Attorney General Rob Bonta acknowledged the complicated investigation.
We're watching closely. We're aware of the situation on the ground. We're certainly also aware of the state's actions and their explanations, the actions that they've taken to maintain the integrity of the investigation, to maintain an appropriate degree of independence.
As the investigation continues, Cabaldon tells me this is a grim reminder of the dangers of fireworks, regardless of the celebration.
We have to treat them with the respect that they need, but also to remember that we have to both have the right policies and laws and regulations and safeguards, but we must enforce them.
Last week, an attorney representing Kenneth Chi told ABC10 he is innocent of any wrongdoing in the Yolo County fire and will refrain from making any additional comments until the investigation is complete. Craig Cutright did not respond to my request for comment. Senator Cabaldon tells me we may see new legislation addressing issues from this fire be introduced before the end of this session, which could happen in the next few months. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you for the update.
California is one of more than 20 states taking part in a new lawsuit against the Trump administration.
This time over billions of dollars in frozen funding for students. Here's what you need to know. That money, including $900 million for California, was meant for after-school and summer programs, among others. Congress set aside money for the programs to provide academic support, enrichment, and childcare to mostly low-income families. But the administration recently froze that funding. So far, 1.4 million children and teenagers around the country have been attending after-school and summer programming at a Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, or a public school for free, thanks to federal taxpayers.
Already ongoing summer learning programs have been forced to shut down. Thoughtful strategic budgets, staffing plans, and contracts for the upcoming school year hang in the balance.
More than $6 billion in federal education grants are being held up. The administration says it wants to ensure programs align with the president's priorities. Meanwhile, President Trump is trying to increase pressure on Vladimir Putin, threatening to increase tariffs against Russia in 50 days, barring a ceasefire deal with Ukraine.
Yeah, the threat from President Donald Trump comes with another major announcement. The president saying new weapons are on the way to Europe to support Ukraine's efforts in the war. Christian Cordero has the latest details.
In a significant shift of policy, President Trump today is putting the pressure of a ceasefire deal in Vladimir Putin's court with a 50-day ultimatum.
But we're very, very unhappy with him, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means.
It's unclear exactly what penalties would be imposed on Russia should it not agree to a ceasefire by Trump's deadline. A bipartisan bill sponsored by Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal would impose a 500% tariff on countries that buy Russian oil, gas, and uranium, something Trump signaled support for. The president, who met with NATO Secretary Mark Rutte in the Oval Office today, also announced a new weapons deal for Ukraine.
We're going to do something a little different for this country. We're going to supply weapons to NATO at a large amount. They're going to deliver the weapons, and they're going to pay for 100% of the weapons.
Trump said the new shipments will include Patriot missiles and batteries, and that the weapons should arrive in Europe within days. Ukrainian President Zelensky today meeting with Special Envoy Keith Kellogg.
We are thankful to President Trump for his all messages and very strong decisions about resuming delivers for us, and we are thankful for bipartisan support.
The past month has been especially challenging for Ukraine as Russia increased its aggression, killing more than 200 civilians in June, the highest death toll in 3 years. The NATO chief today emphasized this weapons agreement goes beyond Patriot air defense systems, calling into question what all is included in this deal and what effect that could possibly have on the war. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Evacuations are in place in Arizona near the Grand Canyon because of this explosive wildfire. The White Sage fire is now nearly 50,000 acres, and the Dragon Bravo fire is at 5,000 acres, forcing thousands of visitors to be turned around and leave parts of the Grand Canyon National Park. The two wildfires on the north rim of the Grand Canyon are still 0% contained. The fire is destroying the historic Grand Canyon Lodge, among dozens of other structures. And we know wildfire season is now year-round. ABC10 has a special streaming right now called California Wildfires, Preparing for Peak Danger. We hear from wildfire survivors, we talk to the Red Cross about what to pack in your go bag, and we also take you inside the new technology that helps fight fires. Download the free ABC10 Plus streaming app to watch on your TV. Meanwhile, I do want to bring in Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods because we are tracking those warm conditions and also fire danger as well.
That's true. Like we said, it's year-round. You just got to be ready for it all the time.
Exactly. It doesn't even matter what the temperature is. You know, there's so many different weather elements that can lead to that heightened fire danger. We are in the throes, though, of a pretty big heat stretch right now. As far as the air quality, I know we've been dealing with that periodically throughout the past couple of days, kind of hitting some ozone as well as some smoke. This is what it looks like right now. We do have some smoke right across the Bay Area. I'm going to show you how that transport is happening. Now, some of that trying to make its way through the valley, kind of a hazy view still outside. Here's the near surface smoke. We've got the biggest fires burning to the north of us here, but the wind direction kind of pulling in some of that smoke and then pushing it right through the Bay Area. We do have that onshore flow low right now. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. We're getting a little bit of haziness coming our way, but also a bit of smoke as well. But that's going to bring down these temperatures because we've really been dealing with some hot conditions here in the northern part of the state in particular. That's where we have our weather impact alert still going through 11 o'clock tonight with our heat advisory in place. Highs have been hovering between 95 and 110 with lows only falling to about 70 to 80 degrees. And that elevates the risk of those heat illnesses, especially in that region from roughly about Marysville northward to the border. Locally for Sacramento, we've kind of been bouncing back and forth here from near average temperatures, which by the way are still pretty toasty at 93 degrees, to slightly above that. Late last week we had 99 on Thursday. The fourth 100-degree day of the year was on Friday at 102. And today we were just below that threshold. Still a warm start to the work week. Some of us into the triple digits, including Oroville, Marysville, Stockton, and Modesto. And then again, for Delta-influenced areas, we're starting to see just a trickle of that onshore flow, and that's going to help to alleviate some of the heat that we've had over the past several days. Our live look outside, we've got the hazy view, clouds in the distance here, temperatures in the 90s to low 100s. Tahoe right now at 85. Wanted to go ahead and show you where are the clouds coming from. Well, they're just east of the crest, but that too will play a part of the forecast a little bit deeper into the work week for the high country. Meantime, those winds, they're going to stay with us through tonight. A little bit of low cloudiness for the Delta area for tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow evening, it kicks right back in. Wednesday, the coolest day of our 5-day work week here. Tomorrow we'll start the day off at 60 degrees. Again, a little bit of low cloudiness, and then we're going to clear those skies. Highs will warm into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Pretty nice here, especially as we head through the middle of July. Highs in the 80s tomorrow for the Sierra, with 80s and 90s down low. Across the coast, we've got 60s, and that's the air we're pulling in through the valley, giving us those highs in the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees tomorrow afternoon. But the farther we are from that Delta breeze, the warmer we're going to get. 85 for Wednesday. How about that? That is just absolutely spectacular. It's a gift. It keeps on giving through Thursday, and then we start to warm things up. But overall, guys, no 100s on that 10-day forecast. Yeah, you saw that. Bravo. Encore.
Thank you
Encore.
for that.
You're everyone's best friend, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Monica, thank you.
But first, a 4-year-old from El Dorado Hills was in Washington, D.C. lobbying for diabetes research funding. Landon Capozzoli lives with type 1 diabetes. He and his mom spent the past few days at the nation's capital as part of Breakthrough T1D's 2025 Children's Congress. Landon is one of 160 children selected nationwide to promote diabetes research funding. The Children's Congress is meant to help lawmakers understand what life with type 1 diabetes is like.
I want him to be able to go out and play at the park with his friends and go swimming with his friends and eat cupcakes with the rest of his friends. But right now, he has to stop before he does those things.
And she says she would also like to see insulin and medical devices become more affordable for families nationwide.
Thank you so much for watching ABC 10 Plus tonight. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. Take care. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. Up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look, It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational but in depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.